A few minutes before we begin. Shep, thanks for joining, and I see Scotty's there.
What's up, fellas?
Scott,
Scotty, good morning.
Hey, Shep.
guys.
Hey, Shep, I just heard, unfortunately, from the Clean Energy. If you remember, this is the one
Yes.
that Aspire. So they ended up booking Danny Meyer.
Oh, okay. Danny's a friend, and we were just talking about him here literally 30 seconds before I got on the call.
Yeah, so I guess he's a St. Louis native, which I didn't know, and
Right, which helps.
And stuff. So anyway, they were really appreciative. They said they really liked your stuff, and they might want to definitely work with you in the future. But unfortunately, they didn't go forward this time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and really, Danny's a great guy. He's no Shep. He's no Josh. But seriously, he was probably looking for a reason to come back, and if somebody's paying him a salary to do it, he'll come back and visit parents.
Yeah.
What's that stuff on the ground out there behind you?
I know it's unfamiliar territory for those who live in Orlando.
Yeah.
Those are cotton balls.
Lots of them.
His other business, he's a cotton farmer.
That's fun. That is funny. Well, okay, so we'll give it a couple more minutes. I know there's a lot of people in transit and stuff today, and then and if not, we'll dive in.
I'm so bummed I'm going to miss March 1st.
Oh, man.
What do you got going on, Jeff?
I am speaking for a YPO group and then flying straight from there to speak for a freebie for Social Media Marketing World. I did it last year, and it's a really good conference. Picked up a little business, and Cindy goes out there anyway because she manages all the social media. So, but that's on March 2nd. So, but March 1st is a firm paid booking. It's been on the books for like a year.
Nice. Well, at least you're missing it for good reason.
Yep.
We've got a good turnout. Scotty, are you still going to be able to join us up here on March 1st?
Yeah, I finished getting the plane tickets the other day, and looking forward to flying out there and learn some more.
Awesome. Well, it's going to be a great event. We've got some terrific speakers coming, and Rich Gibbons, the president of Speak Inc., will be there, and a couple other bureau folk. So it should be productive.
And even if you did the exact same program as you did the very first time, we'd all pick up something brand new.
Well, thank you. And we're learning too. I mean, and Scotty, would be curious to get your feedback too versus the first time you came versus this one, just to the extent that you see anything that's improved or needs to change. We'd love your feedback.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll take every single learning opportunity that I can from you guys. The videos are great, and flying out there, you just have to make the commitments to this career. And yeah, I'd be happy to share with you. I know even now, I thought I was ready last year, and now a whole nother year's worth of work. I wasn't ready last year, that's for sure.
Well, we admire your work ethic. You're the hardest working guy in show business. I think I
appreciate it.
You've been on every call, so we appreciate it. Okay, well, it looks like we're going to have a small group today, which is fine. We can go ahead and dive in here. Let's figure out how to get this screen working right, because I've got a couple things I wanted to share with you guys.
Where's Benji?
Where's that? Who's that?
No Benji today?
Oh, my dog? Oh, Da Vinci, yeah.
Oh, Da Vinci.
He's home for the day, yeah. Anyway, what I was thinking is I wanted to actually talk a little bit about the voice of the customer, and the customer being the actual meeting planner. And Jeff, I'd be really curious to hear what you're seeing, and Jordan, perhaps you too, and just see if that's changing at all. In other words, what are the things that are resonating the most with buyers, and what do we think the things that are perhaps turning them off when they're making a speaking decision? Jordan, do you have any comments you want to start with?
Sure. There definitely seems like the same thing with customization comes up all the time. It's almost comical at this point, because one of the things that I would normally talk about is one of the things that we do is we obviously customize, we'll do multiple calls with you and really want to dive in, make sure we understand anything about the industry that we don't already understand your business, what's going well, what are the challenges, soft spots, etc. And then we talk about how we take from that and we can pick the right lessons and research and stories and experiences and kind of handcraft a keynote for them. And about 60% of the time, the response is like, Oh, wow, I was going to ask that anyways. That's such a relief. I didn't know that you'd customize, and we were really worried. We don't want you to just give the same talk that you always get. And that just has not changed. It continues to over and over, if anything, be more popular and more of an interest to buyers than ever.
Shep, what are you hearing? Anything that's really, you think customers are wanting or asking for specifically?
Well, here's what I'm learning. So let's go back to, by the way, I'm hearing an echo of some kind. Do you hear the same thing?
I do. Hey, guys in Detroit, maybe if you put mute on when you're not talking, let's see if that makes a difference.
So this is an interesting concept. It never really happened until the economy went bad in around 2008 or 9. But what happened was everybody wanted to negotiate the fee. They said, can you do anything that, help us with the budget? And so I decided, well, what would happen if I threw in my airfare? They pick me up and they take me to the hotel. They pay for the hotel, but I'll take care of the airfare. And really, that was all it took. And in that deep negative part of the economy, I raised my fee. Back then it was 10. I raised it to 15. And I thought, you know what? Well, as soon as they ask for something, I'll give them the airfare and see if that makes a difference. And I remember this is the bottom of the economy. And I found out that that's all they wanted. And I'm finding out, we just the other day booked one and they said, you know what, would you end up doing it? And you know what my new fee is? Would you end up doing it for $5,000 or less? And I said, no, I can't do that. But are you prepared to book right away if we do come to an agreement in fee? And she said, yes. And I said, what if I included, you cover the hotel like you would normally do, but I'll take care of that extra $1,500 for expenses, which is basically airfare. And she goes, you would do that? Yep. And that was what it took. So I'm finding that that's the concession.
Hey, Scott, maybe it might be on your end. Would you mind just muting your line and see if, because I'm hearing the echo also. It might just be echoing back to your speakers there. Oh, now Shep's muted.
I'm just kidding. I'm messing with
funny.
you.
That was amazing. That was good. And that did cure that. So, Scotty, when you want to talk, just unmute it. But that way it actually cures the echo. And as we're recording this for others, so that's good. Okay, Shep, well, that's good feedback. And we've seen the same thing, that sometimes people just want a deal of some kind. They feel like they're getting a little something. And I think throwing the airfare is a good one. Sometimes we'll throw in a workshop. Like I'll do a 1-2 punch. Then listen, if it's immediately following my keynote, I'd be willing to do an extra an hour or 35-minute kind of thing, like an interactive workshop and get people engaged. So it does seem like people want to feel like they got something extra.
So Josh, to that point, I was at a meeting recently. We were talking about that exact thing. And normally, somebody would say, would you charge for that? I believe that if you go and do a workshop afterwards, the people that love what you do are going to show up at that workshop. And those are the people that are going to end up booking you for your next date. It's like, I think, a much better opportunity to get closer to those people than you finish with your keynote and everybody's, giving you high fives as you walk out to catch your airplane.
Yeah, great. Hey, Scott, would you mind muting again? I'm sorry. It's bouncing back, echoing for us. Thanks, brother. Definitely. The other thing I was going to share, I made a couple notes. When I have a pre-booking call, like the one I had yesterday, and we've since received an offer, I always have like my little talking points. And these are the things that I want to get out, just like a politician would, no matter what question's asked. Like if your talking point is lowering taxes, no matter what question the news media asks you basically respond with, hey, let's talk about tax. So here's my 4 things that I always say. I say, before I answer your question, which I'm happy to, let me tell you just real quickly about my philosophy. First of all, I want to strike a balance. And that balance is, on the one hand, being really energizing and enthusiastic and fun and entertaining and inspiring. So it's going to be a high energy, filled with humor and moving stories. It will not be a boring lecture. But the other thing I want to balance is that there's some practical, actionable takeaways, so that you're not only getting excited in the moment. It's not only about the enthusiasm in the moment, but the impact of that talk lasts for 6 or 12 months or even years to come. So to me, I really gauge the impact if we really hit it out of the park, not only by how pumped up people are at the live event, which they will be, but how they remember back and often reference language or even techniques that they learned months and years to come. The second thing I want to make sure people know is that, as Jordan pointed out, that I've never given the same keynote twice, that every keynote is customized. Doesn't mean I wouldn't reuse a piece of content, but then I'm hand selecting stories and ideas and tactics so that I can make every minute count for them. That it's not just speech number 4, grab it off the shelf and reset my lines. It's really much more of a thoughtful preparation for their specific needs. And then the third thing I really want to get across is that we're just easygoing. And sometimes I'll make a little joke. Listen, I know there's some speakers in our field that unfortunately are very high maintenance and high drama, and we're the opposite of that. You know, we don't care what kind of bottled water there is or what type of moisturizer there is in the hotel room. We're here to serve. And so if you need an extra call or two, great. If you need me to come out early, no problem. You know, whatever your needs are, unless it's unreasonable, we want to be there to help. So again, those 3 things I try to get across is this balance between inspiring and actionable, that it's customized, and that we're good guys, low maintenance, flexible, and easy to work with. And that little trifecta, if you will, seems to, like, you could feel people nodding their heads on the other end of those pre-booking calls, and a huge percentage of them convert.
Yeah, I wrote down from one of our last calls, you gave us an incredible amount of insight to the pre-booking as well as the content call.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know, Shep, if you get on more of these or not, but we try anytime we possibly can. Hey, let's hop on a pre-booking call. And a lot of times the bureaus are like, you do that? Thinking, why wouldn't you do that?
Right, I know.
But anyway, the percentages are ridiculous. So we have about, I think it's a 10 to 15% closing average on holds. So literally to get our 160 gigs last year, we had well over 1,000 holds. But when we get on a pre-booking call, the conversion rate goes way up. It's like 85, 90%. And so, I mean, I suppose that's another good hack. It's like anytime we can try to get on a call, let's do it.
Right. I'll agree 100%. What are, I can't remember who it was. Somebody once said that you should have a negotiation package. And this is an interesting concept. You want to keep to your fee, but what can you offer in lieu of dropping your fee that would get them to say that's worth it? So I don't have my list in front of me, but Cindy, by the way, say hi, Cindy.
Hi.
Josh, I don't know if you've ever met Cindy before, but anyway, Cindy, we just did the program where we had to list everything for.
Yeah.
Can you bring that? Because it is in here?
I'll get it.
Okay, she'll get it. Anyway, this list is all of the things we did to maintain the fee. These people, because we're like $10,000+ more than they've ever paid. Should have called me last year, I guess. But it included, I have a self-published book. Thank you. So see, Cindy, that's great for you.
Oh,
no, I could get in trouble for that. So let's see, what is it that I'm including? A short pre-conference video that we produce, which is nothing more than, hey, it's Shep Hyken here, excited to be with you. We're going to talk about really important things to your business, and that is how to deliver an amazing customer experience, blah, blah, blah. We're going to help them choose 3 articles from the hundreds that I've done that are great for them to send out like 3 weeks ahead of time, 6 weeks before, so starting about 90 days out. On site, if they're going to have a video crew, I'm going to talk and give 2 or 3 really important points, typically summary points from the speech, but things that they need to make sure these people, drive it over and over again. Oh, great. We repeated, used the Shepherd Letter article. That's how good. Oh, no. It's for afterwards. We'll choose another series of the articles for them to use as follow-up. We'll include our books. 250 books costs us $300. That's not much, which to them, the retail value on that's $5,000 as an attendee gift. We will do a pre-recorded event, which could be them interviewing me. It could be a webinar style, whatever. It takes us 45 minutes to do. And of course, we'll do that. That's one of the extra content calls, if you will. And then finally, we do our virtual training. This is kind of I guess kind of the puppy dog close. We'll give them there's 250 people in the audience this time. We'll give them 250 licenses to our online virtual program titled 5 Ways to Create an Amazing Customer Experience. And the retail value to that is about, it's $50 times 2. So it's about $12,500. However, they're getting it for free. That's the shortest like that's the introductory course to them paying, X number of dollars per month for them to give it to everybody. So I kind of am happy to do that. I actually designed the course for that purpose. Finally, they get access to me after the event. We have a feedback call, and we have another call a month later if they want it, and if they want to continue after that. My feeling on that is if we're still talking to them in 6 months, if they're really picking my brain like that, I'm working for them next year. So
I love those, Shep. That was awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I just learned a couple things right there. That's killer.
Thanks.
I'll just share because we just started doing this, and it's very early, but it's been well received. We will send, if they want, I'll give them a link and a cut and paste paragraph that they can shoot out to their attendees beforehand. It goes to a survey. And we ask them a very simple survey, some questions like, in our case, we're talking about innovation. So, how does your organization prioritize innovation? Do you feel you have a systematic approach to it? A couple other questions like this, and then reveal the results of that survey, reveal the data in the context of the live talk. So it does a couple of things. First of all, the data is interesting. It's good for us, too, to get the data, but it makes them feel like we're interacting with their audience before they show up. The audience is participating, and then you're sort of revealing something interesting that directly relates to the audience at the keynote. And so that was actually a pretty easy thing for us to set up. I don't think there was a whole lot of cost to it. Connor made it happen. And it gets another added value kind of thing. And again, it's good for us because we're getting some interesting data.
Is that done like on a SurveyMonkey type of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very powerful. One of the things we're able to do if we want to take the time to do it on our e-course is I really like it when they show that course before I show up because it gives them kind of an introduction to me. But we can actually put on there a series of questions in a survey that I get, and that does a couple of things. One, it lets me know ahead of time, although I can always check how many people actually participated in taking the course. But number two, to have that data and information, the client loves it. And the questions that we specifically use are on a scale of 1 to 5. How do you rate your company's service? Or how do you believe your customers rate your company? How would you rate your company? There was like 4 or 5 questions on there. Do you remember what they are? Okay, but so it's really insightful, and it is anonymous, so we can't really track it back to the person. But when somebody says, our leaders think we're doing a great job and we really suck, they need to hear that. But I like the idea of doing the survey. Something else we recently did, I found out for an association when their board of advisors was going to meet, and I actually jumped on the call for 15 minutes, and I asked them, they know what I'm going to speak about. They know who I am. What would they like me to include in the speech? Can't guarantee I'm going to do it. But, man, that would be an awesome thing as I think about it if I can get the stakeholders in there in the pre-booking call and hear what they want to talk about and then talk about that and then reflect back in an email to all of them. This is what I heard. This is what I'll include.
Love that. Love it.
It's extra work, but hey, we make a lot of money on what we do. We need to get it. It's not a layup.
Well, that's right. And I think a lot of people, because of their backgrounds or whatever, think that they should just be entitled to do very little work and mail it in. And that's why Shep, you've been successful for 30 years. And I would certainly hope we can sustain the momentum as well, not just by being a flash in the pan, but by doing the extra work, by over-delivering each and every time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you, hey, Shep, I have a question for you. Do you use any AV or you use no slide?
I'm so much struggling. I've got a speech coming up in a few weeks, that free one on March 2nd for Social Media Marketing World. They expect me to use AV. I just don't do it. I know you do. I should do it because I think it could be fun. I just attended a great program, and if you have a chance to check out, Brian Walter is traveling around the country as the president of the National Speakers Association. And his program that he's presenting is putting video in your speech. And man, when he does that, I go, holy cow, how can I not be doing that? And these questions, he's got this thing, it's like, what was Snapchat? Was it 6 seconds? Is that what it was? And then it disappears?
Yeah.
Or Vine, it's Vine, 6 seconds. He says, take your cell phone and just do a short 5 or 6, 7 second video and tell me what your number one customer service tip is. And you ask people in the company to share what their number one customer service tip is. Then you get them all sent to you. And, of course, they're low quality because they're on a phone. But when you create a slide where there's a phone in as an image, and in the phone you got the screen, so that image isn't really. I mean, it really looks much better from the quality standpoint, and you can get 5 or 6 people, and then you can put a shill in there to have some fun. Like 6 seconds, that's all I get is 6 seconds. I can hardly, it just cuts them off in the middle. Like I was saying, and you just kind of insert that. It's just brilliant what he's doing, but I'm going to think more and more about it. I haven't done it for 34 years, but I'm thinking it's time to change.
Well, you know what? You got to also stay true to who you are. Because if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. The reason I brought it up is that I've been having an increasing level of frustration with AV crews, and I was curious if you had any good advice. But
he talked about that. He specifically
found is like it's increasingly binary. Like there's nobody that's a medium level AV crew. They're either fantastic and they have it totally dialed in and they know exactly what they're doing, or they're just a disaster.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh! One of our clients, Insomnia Cookies, just sent us Insomnia Cookies.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Thanks. Hey, take care of this guy. Don't let him walk out without giving him a cookie or a couple of bucks anyway. I love working here.
So I guess we'll pass on the AV thing. But other question for you, Chuck, while I got you is, are you seeing anything different this year versus last year?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm beginning to get a sense of a feeling that the middle market type companies, not the big ones, what I would say Fortune 500 is definitely excluded from this. But I would say the companies that are 100 million, 150 million, maybe even a little more, are a little nervous right now. So here's what I sense. Our business is an instant indicator that things aren't working in the country and the economy. And we're a lagging indicator when things get better. That's just been my experience rolling through several economic turns. I don't think we're in a bad economic place right now, but one of my clients I was talking to says, we're going to hold off on our meeting. We need to see what's going on. I go, what's the issue? He says, honestly, I think we're one tweet away from a nuclear war. That's scaring people. I think the climate of our political system and the unsureness or lack of confidence, and we don't know what's going to be here in 6 months, regardless of how well the economy is rolling, is becoming an issue. I hope it's not. I don't want to be gloom and doom. By the way to negate that is to pick up the telephone and start making calls to the last 10 years worth of clients to find out, are they still having meetings and bringing you back? But that's what we did back in 2008 and 9 or whenever that downturn was. When all my buddies were crying, the phone's not ringing. I said, well, you can't wait for the phone to ring. You've got to make the phone ring. And your job is no longer just doing a speech. It's getting the speech. And I've always felt that in the very beginning. That's the real job that we have. So I think that's something that I'm seeing with meeting planners and clients and hearing some excuses out there. So.
Yeah, it's funny. The headline right now on CNN.com is Dow drops almost 700 points and starts recovery. So the flip-flopping up and down, you're right, it's definitely not a good thing for meeting planner confidence. We've had a couple this year. I mean, we had a very strong January, beat our target, but we had a couple, like CenturyLink did an engagement last year. They loved it. They said they want me back for the second one. And then they said, we're going to do an internal speaker. And we've had a couple of clients postpone or do an internal. They made a thing like that with Allstate recently. And so, I think it's going to be. I think you're right. We got to be thoughtful. Which is all the more reason why the folks that have the staying power are the ones that reinvest and continue to add extra value.
Yeah, 100%. There's lots of ways to do it, and I listed a few of the ways that we do, and you've got your ways. I think that's really what's going to happen, and if you get on that pre-call, the conversion rate goes up, but that's the chance. Something else that we do, which might, I feel, does add value, but it also kind of promotes, is I go to the Dan Sullivan coach program. I don't know if you're familiar with Dan at all. Okay, I've been going now for like 18 years, every quarter. And one of the things he talks about is he calls it the DOS conversation, DOS. I may have mentioned this before. Dangers, opportunities, strengths. And from that conversation, I don't necessarily have that conversation with the client, but I do want to know, why are they interested in my topic? Is there a problem, or do they just want to be better, or is it just entertainment? And sometimes they just, we're looking for a good speaker. This year's the theme. But imagine, why do they want an innovation speaker? What do you mean? Why do you want an innovation? Well, you know what? Some of our people just don't get what it's like to be an innovative organization. That's where we want to go. And you hear that, and all of a sudden you're maybe going down a different path. So number one, we want to know why. And number two, we listen to them very carefully, and I write down the words that they're using. I don't know if you notice, I'm typing things as you're talking, but that's what I do with every client conversation as well. None of them are video like this, but so they don't see me doing it. But I type down the words that they use. We're really looking. We want a dynamic speaker at the very front of our meeting that's really going to get people out of their seats and just be fired up for the rest of the meeting. That phrase is very important that I repeat that back in my recap to them. And I'm going to ask them, what are the three, and I know I went over this before on our last meeting, what are the three most important things you want this audience to walk away with? Again, I'm going to type them out. I'm going to use their words. And then that extra question, if we were to get together a year from now, what would have to happen for this to be a success? And you say it when, let's see, I wrote down that, we want to gauge, we will gauge the impact based on not only how great the actual speech, and by the way, I paraphrased it a little bit, how great the actual speech is, but that 6 months, a year, maybe even years from now, people are still using the content. So that's important. So anyway, those are the kinds of things we're doing to try to add value to the conversation. And that piece that we send them is a great follow-up piece. And didn't you tell me you do some videos afterwards? Do you ever shoot a video and send it to them?
Yeah, we're getting much more involved in videos right now, actually. I'm going to starting to produce this little thing here, which is like a 29-second innovation blast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like kind of a cool, snappy thing. It's like a tip, a tool, it's a quick hit story. And we're going to send those across the board to our bureau partners, to our prospect funnel, to our existing customers. It's a way to add value and stay top of mind.
But what I'm thinking of is after your
like a customized video.
Yeah, a customized video that's maybe 60 seconds, 90 seconds long saying, here's what I heard. It's just another.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't done that that's a good idea, after a kickoff call. That's a really good idea.
Now, kickoff call or pre-booking call?
Either. That's a really good, I've never done that. That's a smart idea.
The pre-booking call is part of the sales process. And let me tell you, there are speakers that are starting to do this, but you do that now and you stand out.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So
that's a really smart idea. Awesome. Well, I want to be respectful of everyone's time. Scotty, while we got you here, any questions that you have on your mind, anything we can help with? You just got to go off mute there. There you go.
Yeah, I think this has been overwhelming learning over the last year. And I just want to say thanks for the opportunity just to listen to you guys. I feel like I got a Harvard education in the last year by listening to everybody. I think I really feel comfortable about, some of the speaker bureaus told me to put together the reel. And I think I put together a really quality reel. And I've got a lot of features and benefits, and I've got my marketing material. I think I'm ready to go. I think I would really like at this meeting to maybe lean on you guys and see how could I leverage the speaker bureaus to take a chance on Scotty going forward. That's my next hurdle.
It's not taking a chance.
Well, thanks, Shep.
No, I mean, I think if you come across that way, they should never have any lack of confidence. They shouldn't feel like they're taking the chance.
No,
how many phone calls have you been on?
250,000.
Exactly. Nobody's got that. You know what? Can I get that? I may have been on 250,000 calls over my life, but hardly any of them were customer service calls.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, you're exactly right. I think it's getting the opportunity to talk with them and show them, hey, I do present a value. You'll see a measured result, and you get some takeaways. Just like your guys' advice and guidance on how to pitch that to them the proper way, since you guys have done that and know them quite well.
I think you just said it.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. Well, then I'll do all that March 1st with the new speaker group.
Scotty, we'd love to see the video if you're open to sharing it.
I saw it. It's great. I think I sent it to you guys. Or at least Connor has seen it, right? It's really good.
Oh, cool.
I tell you what, I was pleasantly surprised. It was amazing. I put it out on LinkedIn and immediately got 1,000 likes. Nice. the first day. It was back to you guys telling me, hey, take your time and do something professional. And we did. It took us about 2 months to put together. And Tim Sanders, God love him, he said, hey, this is okay. You got too much B-roll. And I said, yeah, I understand that. I've only done 3 presentations, so you got to fill it in a little bit until you get some other ones. But I'll shoot it to the group again.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I mean, And I'm glad you did it, and I'm sure it'll pay off. You know, the thing is, you get so much feedback from people on these videos. Every bureau has their own take, like, oh, you know, it can't be longer than 10 minutes, or I want a whole speech, or we just got time for more than a 2-minute reel, or should never have B-roll in it, or it should be, you know, it's not about you actually speaking, it's about setting the mood. You gotta just, like, you go crazy, you have 50 videos, you gotta do what you think is right and share with everyone. Not everyone will be happy, but it'll work.
Yeah, well, thanks. I'll send it out to the group again. Happy to take some feedback because I know it's a work in progress. It'll keep changing and growing.
So Chris West, who did my video, what did he say that the average person drops off in about 40 seconds, 40 to 45 seconds? 40 to 45 seconds into the video, they've decided whether or not they want to watch anymore or not. And then if they do, it usually ends by about 2 minutes, even if your video is not finished, which is fine because they're going to put you in the list to come back and watch that video closer. But really in that first 30 to 40 seconds, if you don't nail it with what you're all about, I think that, you know, his research, and this is pretty much all he does now is speaker videos. His research is saying, as of this time, that's what it takes.
Well, that's great advice. All right, cool. Well, listen, I want to be respectful of everyone's time. We had a small, intimate group here today, so that's good. Shep, good luck on March 1st. We're going to miss you in Detroit.
I will miss you.
Come to the next one, and we'll keep the party rolling. And Scotty, we look forward to seeing you here right in the Motor City.
All right. Bye, guys. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Take care, Josh.
Take care. Bye.
Bye, gang.